What's going on, you guys? So I wasn't sure if I was going to release this video because I previously said that the last video was going to be me explaining and adding the final step, which is the single black hairs on the spots. But since I did record this, so I decided to add it, and it's basically me adding and doing the same thing that I was doing on the previous video, but it's just more of it. It's a longer video. And what I'm doing here, I'm just darkening the shadows, and I'm bringing out the individual fine hairs. See, I'm just going close and separating the clumps of hairs. So you could see those tiny individual hairs that are overlapping the layers below. Those are the hairs that'll be highlighting with a kneaded eraser. And the whole video is basically just that. It's a lot of the same stuff, but it does take a long time. But it's like I always say, it's worth it. It is worth it, and all the work that you put in, it's gonna show in the end. But like with anything, like you need to practice it. See, and I'm not just randomly adding darkening areas. Like I could see. It's hard to explain, but I can see the clumps of hairs. I can imagine which hair should be dark and which one should be lighter, where the shadow should go. See, this pencil, the 5H, is good for darkening, but like layer by layer, slowly, because it's a harder pencil. So I'll let you guys watch. See, just by darkening the shadows, you can see the layers. You can see which hairs are at the top, which are at the bottom. You can see the hairs overlapping each other. And that's how I know like which hairs to highlight, which ones are the ones that are going to be shadowed. So it's just, and again, it all depends on the technique and how the way we did it at the beginning, how we were indenting. If we kept that at random, it begins to look like hair, because hair doesn't behave. It's random. Like you have hairs going one way, you have the other. They're all over the place. Some hairs are individually, like the ones that you see there, and some hairs group together, which I call a clump. They clump together, which I'm doing right there. I'm clumping hairs together. So I'm taking individual hairs and grouping them, which you also see in in animal hair. See, by doing that, you also create another layer, and it gives it more depth. Again, the more you do this, the easier it's gonna become, and the easier it's gonna be for you to see these clumps. Like it'll be easier for you to recognize, okay, which hairs should I group together. It'll be easier for you to spot them. So once I highlight the clumps, I go around them to darken the shadows, and it makes them stand out more. So I darken the hairs below. And the bottom of this spot, it's gonna have darker hair, because that hair, the black hair, is gonna overlap the lighter hair below. So the black hair is gonna cast a shadow. So right now I have the drawing upside down. And like I mentioned earlier, like it does help to change the perspective, to change the angle, so it helps you see better. Like I said, it's a lot of the same stuff. But you know what? I wouldn't change this for anything. I love the whole process, and I love seeing the hair just appear before my eyes. See, I'm just darkening the clumps, because if I don't darken them, they're gonna stand out too much. And they are darkening a couple of hairs between the clumps. See, the fun part are those little white hairs that you see. I love highlighting those. It makes a huge difference. Like subtle details like that have a huge impact on the drawing. It just suggests that there are layers of hair. So you have those single hairs are the ones that are at the top, and then everything else is below them. See, I'm just darkening the shadows. I like to increase the value like slowly, like layer by layer, bit by bit. That way I can decide which hairs I want darker, how dark I want it. And for that I use the 6B pencil, and this right here is a 2H. Sometimes I spend hours and hours just doing this, like pulling out these details, finding these shadows. making these highlights. There's times I need to like force myself to stop because it goes on for too long. I could still add more detail, but see, this is where I start adding the highlights. And again, all I do is I press the kneaded eraser between my index finger and my thumb to make a fine edge. And then I just tap along the single hair. So just highlighting these hairs, it makes a huge difference. You can begin to see the layers, which hairs are at the bottom, which are at the top, which are in the middle, which hairs are not receiving any light. And these are the hairs that we added at the end of when we finish indenting. Those random quick hairs that we added, these are it. And this is where we start seeing all that work that we put into it, all that planning. It's just tapping. I just tap on along the line, and it highlights it. So I'm just searching for these hairs. The ones that I'm looking for are the ones that are almost parallel, perpendicular to the rest of the hair. Those are the ones that stand out more because they go across, right? Almost go across. Some of them do go all the way across, but the ones that are on an angle, those are the ones that I'm looking for. For me, this is fun. Looking for these hairs, it's fun. I find it interesting and satisfying. But you do need a lot of patience with this. See, if I want, I could also go in and darken the hairs below, those single hairs, with a 5H pencil, and then individually darken the hairs below, like one by one, and I'll even further make those highlights jump out more. What I like about this technique is that up close you can see all those little lines and indentation, shadows, highlights, and all. But from far away, all those little details come together, and it gives the illusion of hair, which is what you're trying to do. You're trying to give the illusion. See, I'm just turning the drawing. Then you notice how by changing the angle you can see things more. You can see other detail. it helps finding these little hairs. And this is why right here, this is why it takes me so long to finish a drawing. The longest one took me, I think it was around 6 months. And it was the two hyenas that I did, but it was a big drawing. It measured 30 by 40 inches. And the hair on hyena is it's very thick and messy, so I had a lot of these single hairs. And that's it. I just go around the whole drawing and just picking out these single hairs. See, I don't call them indentations. I call them hair because to me, that's what they are, hairs. See, it separates all the layers. See, on the black spot, those white hairs, those are supposed to be black hairs with highlights, because light hits black hair, and the black hair reflects light. And I like having hair like that. I don't like just having a black spot. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how I extend out those hairs. See, this pencil is great. These are a carpenter's pencil, and the tip is flat, so it's easy to cover a large area. And because it's flat, the tip goes over the indentations, and they don't. It doesn't add any graphite in the line, in the indentation. This is like an extreme close-up. Like in the actual drawing, like these lines are really, really small. But like I said, from a distance they come together, and you can notice how much of an impact they have and what a difference it makes. Even though I've been using this technique for years now, I'm still learning. Every day I learn something new with this. Again, it all comes down to me understanding hair. Like the more I understand it, the easier it becomes for me to add these details. It all comes down to that. Like all these little lines and shadows and highlights, those are details that I've seen on pictures of animal hair. So knowing that information, I just add it to my drawings. So information is key. Knowledge is a key to drawing realistically. It's all in the details. just by looking at this, you could probably notice like which hairs need to be darkened to further show the layers. So I'm just highlighting the hairs along that overlap the spots. I said this before, and I guess I'll say it again, but this is my way of drawing hair. Like, this is how I learned it. I'm a self-taught artist, so everything that I know, everything that I'm showing you, I learned it myself, just through trial and error, and I don't know, I guess just a passion for drawing. So everything that you're seeing, I learned it myself. But what you're seeing now is not the only way to draw hair. There are so many other different ways, and some people might like it, some people might not, some people might find it that it looks good, some may not, and that's fine. And if it works for you, that's awesome, that's amazing, and I'm happy that it's gonna work for you. But if it doesn't, then it's just look at it as a new technique that you learned, that you know exists. Because there's probably going to be people saying, oh, this is not how you draw hair, or it doesn't look good, but this is my way. This is how I've been doing it for years, and it's worked for me, and I like the way it looks. I don't know, I guess it's like a personal thing. And I guess it also depends on the style of drawing, because you could take this and make it your own, like make it, put your own flavor to it, I guess. Because the way I see hair might be different, might be different from the way other people see it. So this is, you can say that this is my interpretation of how I see animals. This is how I see their hair. It's my interpretation of that. And I'm happy where I am with my artwork and the way it's grown from where I started and I am now. I'm proud of like how far my drawings have come. And and if I can help someone improve their work, why not? Because I know there's people out there that are in the same spot that I was like many years ago, and now it's even easier, because when I first started, like I didn't have YouTube or Instagram or anything like that. It was just simple forums, and that was it. Like, you go in, you post a picture, people post pictures, they comment on it, and just have a conversation. Now you could see this, you could see people actually drawing, and it helps. Because I remember I had so many questions when I first started. I had so many questions that I wanted to ask. How you do this? How do you do that? I couldn't ask. I didn't know anyone like that I could ask. So I know how it feels. I know how it is to want to improve, but not have someone to ask, or not have the resources. And I'm happy. I'm glad that I'm a self-taught artist, because that forced me to improve, and it forced me to develop my own style, develop my own techniques, and all those things. So I'm happy that I went that way. So again, hopefully these videos have been helpful, and a lot more. I'll try to improve the quality. I'm not a teacher. Like I'm not. I don't know. Like I'm just going by what I know and how I know how to teach it. So hopefully everything that I've shown and that I've said, it makes sense. Going back to being a self-taught artist, you know what? If you do get the opportunity to go to art school and be taught in a school setting, go for it. Like, I'm not saying don't do it, but go for it. And then once you've learned everything that you need to learn, you can go your own way and develop your own style. Don't miss an opportunity like that. So yeah, you guys, again, if you find these videos helpful, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. Please share, get these videos out there, let people know about this channel, and visit me in my social links. I posted them below. Also, you can check out the written tutorial below in the description. So thanks for watching, you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Next video I'll show you the final step, which is going to be adding the fine hairs, black hairs on the spots, and then that'll be it. See you later, guys.